From stories across the globe to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Sharif Fatah.
A very good evening to you indeed. I am Shehara Herat. Now let's first have a look at the headlines for today.
A decision to use facial recognition technology to identify suspects related to crimes. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said the country will be truly safeguarded through a modern export economy. Another 100 million rupees to strengthen the rural economy from September 1st. Disciplinary inquiries against parliamentarian S.B. Dissanayake and Dilan Pereira. A massive turnout for the Theru festival of the historic Nallur Kovil. An accepted mandate extended to form a coalition government in Italy. We move on to those and other stories in detail now. Archbishop of Canterbury, Most Reverend Justin Welby, met with Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Temple Trees today. Archbishop of Canterbury, Most Reverend Justin Welby, and the delegation on a 3-day solidarity visit arrived in Sri Lanka this morning and was welcomed by Minister John Amaratunga. Subsequently, the Archbishop visited St. Sebastian's Church in Katuwapitia, which was targeted by the Easter Sunday attacks. Meanwhile, Archbishop of Canterbury, Most Reverend Justin Welby, met opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa at the opposition leader's office. The Archbishop then presided at a special service in the Cathedral of Christ the Living Saviour in the evening. Bishop of the Diocese of Colombo, Most Reverend Dinoraj Kanagasava, was also present on this occasion. All heads of churches and devotees were present for the special prayer service.
The challenge of discussion between faiths has become much more difficult in the last 30 or 40 years. In every faith tradition, there is a growth in extremist attitudes, including in Christianity, and it is the duty of every religious tradition for its leaders to resist extremism and to teach peaceful dialogue, but honest dialogue. So the first challenge to all of us is take responsibility. If a Christian does something evil, it is not for me to say, well, they're not a real Christian. I have to ask myself, what is within my faith tradition, our historic teaching, that makes it easy for them to do that? What is wrong with us? What do we learn? But the heart of God is pleased that the poor are loved and served. For Christians, peace building is not an option. It's not something you add to make yourself a specially good Christian. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Whether Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever faith, society calls us to account, and I believe that God calls us to account at the end of time. Have you been builders of peace or builders of pain?
Now, the Colombo Defence Seminar was commenced today. The seminar was inaugurated under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena. Evolving military excellence in the contemporary security landscape is a theme of this year's seminar. The Colombo Defence Seminar began in 2010 and is taking place for the 10th consecutive occasion. Sri Lanka Army is organising the seminar, and military officials, intellectuals, speakers and foreign envoys from over 40 countries are participating in the 2-day conference. Keynote address of the first session of the seminar, inaugurated under the patronage of the President, was delivered by media entrepreneur, author and analyst of Indian strategic affairs, Nitin N. Gokal. The sessions of the two-day seminar will be held under several themes including contemporary security landscape, confronting terrorism and military modernization.
We are about to enter the third decade of the 21st century, but many people are still stuck in the 20th century thinking about security challenges obtaining in those years. Major nations will have to contend with regional conflicts and developments associated with them. Refugee crisis, HADR situations, peacekeeping, humanitarian emergencies, environmental problems, global health issues, technological developments and economic collapse. All these are present and clear dangers. Issues of demographics, including migration and health, depleting natural resources and degradation of environment will lead to conflicts, and nations will have to be prepared to combat these more than the traditional threats. Very soon, more than half the world's population will be urban. The number of people living in megacities, those containing more than 10 million inhabitants, will double to more than 400 million. The explosive growth of cities in developing countries will test the capacity of governments to stimulate investment required to generate jobs and to provide the services, infrastructure and social support necessary to sustain livable and stable environment. Note has to be taken, of course, of the nexus that exists between terrorist outfits, criminal gangs involved with drug trafficking, gun running, pushing of fake currency and irregular movement of persons across national borders. This creates a very nefarious network of crime and threat to security that requires a very comprehensive and refined approach, especially by the militaries. The 21st century is marked by an abundance of information. Today, the interconnected world, the social media proliferation has given rise to many different challenges, many new challenges. There is a constant increase in the number of sources of information which cannot be muzzled and have to be managed. The security forces, therefore, will have to focus on balancing openness with security to exploit the power of the media, both tactically and strategically.
Sri Lanka, being an island nation in the Indian Ocean, is highly concerned about the security situation in the Indian Ocean region and sea lines of communication. The Indian Ocean contains very vital sea routes that connect the east and west, which have become the lifeline for many nation states, not only within the rim of it, but also all those who depend on sea line communication for commerce, energy, resources, exploration and military domination of the region. There are many forms of military development taking place in the Indian Ocean region in the present era. The nation states are strengthening and developing their military forces as a matter of deterrence to other nations, looking for stability through military modernization. On the other hand, there is a trend of increasing the presence of foreign military forces and fleets to establish and maintain the regional stability that is necessary for global security.
In this era of information, where success depends on how best information is received and processed, we strongly believe that the information should be shared among like-minded nations. In today's context, we are embarking on a robotic age, and it prompts us to embrace technology. Human involvement in security is something that cannot be written off hastily. My mind is also challenged by corporate world thinking, such as the triple bottom line concept: people, planet, and profit. I strongly believe that the future of the modern day military will have to fall in line with such concepts while preserving its identity as a military, which is the sole protector of a sovereign nation.
In the meantime, the police department directs attention on using facial recognition technology to identify suspects related to crimes. This was revealed at a meeting held between President Maithripala Sirisena and senior police officials at the President's office this morning. Accordingly, a police information distribution system will be established. Sri Lanka Police, Immigration and Emigration and Registration of Persons Department and Sri Lanka Telecom will jointly collect the relevant data systems. The system will consist of information on the suspects related to crimes and the suspects evading the law. This system will enable any police personnel to identify a criminal by connecting to the system via a smartphone. This will pave the opportunity ability for the police to apprehend culprits in an efficient manner and enable the police to monitor motor traffic violations via the system. After taking over the police department, the President has taken many steps towards human and resource development of the department. The President has taken many steps to establish a quality and efficient police service, and this new program is one of the many efforts taken up by the President in the recent times. Minister Arjuna Ranatunga and Acting IGP C.D. Vikramaratne were present on this occasion. The convocation for Prachina Pandita degree graduates of Sri Lanka Prachina Bhashopakara Association was held this evening at the Nelumpokana Theatre under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena. The graduates from the classes 2012 to 2017 received their degree certificates at the event. Anunayaka of Kotte Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha, Venerable Professor Kottapitiya Rahulathera, was awarded with the honorary degree titled Pandita. President Maithripala Sirisena received an honorary degree titled Vibodhajana Prasadaka for his commendable service towards the betterment of the Buddha Sasana. Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam also received an honorary degree titled Vivajana Prasadaka for his commendable service towards the upliftment of the education sector in the country. Mahasangha, including Anunayaka of Malvata chapter, Venerable Niyangoda Vijitasiritera and state officials were present on this occasion. In the meantime, the United National Party says that according to the party constitution, the presidential candidate of the party should be selected when the nominations for the presidential election are being announced. Party Legal Secretary Nishanka Nanayakara made these comments based on the prevailing discussions on this regard. A nomination committee should be appointed by the party working committee to select a presidential candidate, which then selects the candidate. The party legal secretary said that the selected candidate should be approved by the party working committee. Meanwhile, he said that steps have been taken to initiate a disciplinary inquiry against parliamentarians Vijayadasa Rajapaksa and Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathera.
And now, the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the country will be truly safeguarded by moving towards a modern exports economy through certain entities have engaged in politics claiming to protect the country. The Prime Minister made these remarks while taking part in the inauguration ceremony of Batik Lanka National Exhibition held at BMICH today. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the market for batik products should be further developed and necessary funds should be allocated for this task. He added that necessary designing and technology in the batik industry should be focused in the development process. He added that when reaching out for the European and US markets, the designs and products should be in accordance to their market requirements. He also stated that when the government assigned the Ministry of Primary Industries to Minister Dagamage, he was requested to revive the small-scale industries and transform those into export-oriented industries. He stated that the country should move into an export-oriented economy. The Prime Minister added that the revenue of the country will be increased with the development of small-scale industries. This would be ultimately improving the revenue levels of the public. The Prime Minister stated that the government is prepared to provide necessary capital in the next couple of years for the local investors to strengthen the national economy. He also pointed out that the importance in bringing foreign investments in the country is vital. He stated that the country's imports are higher than the exports. Therefore, the government is unable to pay the debts incurred continuously due to this gap. He added that this gap should be reduced and we should aim for an excess in exports. He stated that the government plans not only to initiate large-scale industries and businesses, but also the government requires the support of small-scale industries and businesses. He stated that Sri Lanka should transform into a hub of the Indian Ocean with this development framework. He added that the country will be truly safeguarded by moving towards modern export economy through certain entities have engaged in politics claiming to protect the country. Colourful Life from a Colourful Job is a theme of the national exhibition organised by the Ministry of Primary Industries and Social Empowerment. More than 60 island-wide batik craftsmen have taken part in the exhibition. After inaugurating the exhibition, the showcasing at the exhibition, the local batik industry, which was begun in the 60s, became a highly profitable venture in the 70s with the increased attention from the tourists. The exhibition was organised with the aim to reinstate the country's batik industry, targeting the local and foreign markets. Various special batik products are showcased through the exhibition. Indonesian batik designers have also taken part in the exhibition, and tomorrow is the final day of the national exhibition.
Minister Sajid Premadasa says that the new government expected to be formed in November will safeguard the livelihoods of the minor crop farmers and impose a set price rate for their products. He made these comments at a ceremony held in Ratnapura today. The ceremony to vest the newly built Sairugama Reawakening Village in Hattangala, Ratnapura with the public was held under the patronage of the minister. This is the 264th model village built under the Samata Sevena Yalipi Bidanuda Gamana program. The village consists of 23 housing units and built at a cost of 37.4 million rupees. The distribution of title deeds and many other social welfare programs were carried out under the patronage of the minister. Minister Sajid Premadasa said that he will safeguard the livelihoods of the minor crop farmers and impose a set price rate for their products. He said that he will take the country to greater heights when the public elect him in December. He said that he will not become a president who depends on the taxpayers' money. He pledged to protect the minor export crop cultivators with his life.
Minister Mangala Samarveera says that another 100 million rupees will be provided to each division from September 1st with the aim of strengthening the rural economy. The funds will be provided under the Gamperaliya Accelerated Rural Development Program. The minister made these remarks during a media briefing held in Colombo today. Minister Mangala Samarveera stated that a rural development program Gamperaliya was initiated last September, covering all divisions of the country. He stated that the first gazette of the Prime Minister, who came into power through a 51-day constitution coup, was to abolish Gamperaliya. He added that the legal government which came into power afterwards reinitiated the Gamperaliya program in a more efficient manner in the country in the month of January this year. The minister stated that 300 million rupees have been distributed among all divisions of the country within the last 8 months. He stated that under the program, the government was able to provide provisions worth 1 million rupees to rebuild small temples, kovils and churches. He also stated that 10,343 religious establishments have been renovated and 5.1 billion rupees worth of work is still in process. The minister stated that 99,882 projects have been initiated across the country within the past 8 months at a cost of 45,477 million rupees.
මේ මොහොත වෙනකොට ආගමික සිද්ධාස්ථාන 10343ක් අපි නවීකරණය කරලා තියෙනවා ගොඩ නගමින් ඉන්නවා ඒ සඳහා බිලියන 5.1ක වැඩ මේ වෙනකොටත් කරමින් තියෙනවා මේ මාස 8ේදී විතරක් ව්‍යාපෘති 99882ක් ලංකාව පුරාම ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙලා තියෙනවා මිලියන 45477ක් අපි වියදම් කරලා තියෙනවා.
The Enterprise Sri Lanka exhibition was initiated from Monaragala last year. More than 580,000 people took part in the exhibition. The majority portion of the interest of the bank loans provided for the people at the exhibition has been paid off by the government. 4.2 million participants took part in the second exhibition held in Anuradhapura. Minister Mangala Samarveera stated that loan facilities have been provided for the entrepreneurs and those projects are already commenced.
Parliamentarians Dilan Pereira and S.V. Disanayaka acquired the membership of the Sri Lanka Podajana Peramuna today. They received their memberships from the party national organizer Basil Rajapaksa. Both the parliamentarians were elected to the parliament through the national list of the United People's Freedom Alliance. Sri Lanka Podajana Peramuna chairman Professor G.L. Piris was also present on this occasion.
And now Sri Lanka Freedom Party has decided to conduct a disciplinary inquiry considering that parliamentarians S.B. Disanayaka and Dilan Pereira have left the party. The decision has reached during a meeting held today at the party headquarters under the patronage of Party General Secretary MP Dayasiri Jayasekara and Alliance General Secretary MP Mahinda Amaraveera. Sri Lanka Freedom Party met with the presidential candidate of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday. The meeting was held at the residence of former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Sri Lanka Freedom Party General Secretary MP Dayasiri Jayasekara, Party Treasurer Lasantha Alagiyawanna and Secretary General of the UPFA Mahinda Amaraveera were present for the meeting. Sri Lanka Freedom Party General Secretary MP Dayasiri Jayasekara stated that a preliminary meeting was held yesterday. He also stated that future discussions will be held on how to move forward together as a team and as a party. Commenting on MPs SB Disanayaka and Dilan Pereira acquiring membership of the SLPP, he stated that the party central committee will take a decision in this regard. And now the annual Theru festival of the Nallur Kandasamy Kovil was held this morning. The annual feast of the historic Nallur Kandasamy Kovil in Jaffna commenced with the erecting of the cup on August 6th. The religious rites of the festival were carried out under the patronage of Sri Vaikundan Kurukkal. The Sappara festival was held yesterday, while the Theru festival was held today. Many devotees are arriving to the Nallur Kandasamy Kovil for the feast.
உலகத்தின் நாயகனாய் அந்த வகையிலே அற்புதமும் எழில் கொஞ்சுகின்ற இந்த நிலையம் மகளுடைய குறைகளை தீர்க்கின்ற முருகக் கடவுள் துதிக்கின்ற ஈராறு தோள் போற்றி காஞ்சி மாவடி கார்த்திகேயன் கடம்பன் இன்றைக்கு என்று உருவாத நெஞ்சம் உண்டோ சொல்லச்சு அற்புதமாக நெல்லை குமரனுடைய திருவாசல்.
In the meantime, Venezuelan Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs Ruben Dario Molina completed a visit to Sri Lanka as part of an Asian tour undertaken to promote closer cooperation between Venezuela and Asian countries. The Venezuelan dignitary held official talks with the State Minister of Foreign Affairs Basantha Senanayake at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs during the visit. The Venezuelan Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs for Asia, Middle East and Oceania made a visit to the island nation from the 24th of August to the 28th. He held talks with the Sri Lankan State Minister of Foreign Affairs and discussed modalities to forge closer cooperation between the two countries. State Minister Senanayake conveyed the best wishes of President Maithripala Sirisena to the government and the people of Venezuela. A draft agreement to formalize a political consultation mechanism between the two foreign ministries, enabling a structured dialogue and enhancing bilateral ties for the mutual benefit of the two countries, was discussed. Furthermore, a draft agreement on the exemption of visas for holders of diplomatic and service passports was also shared with the Sri Lankan side with a view to facilitating official travel between Sri Lanka and Venezuela. During the meeting, Sri Lanka emphasized its increased focus towards the Latin American region, and both countries committed themselves towards a roadmap to renew and expand their trade and economic cooperation. Foreign Secretary Ravinath Arya Singha and senior foreign ministry officials were present on this occasion.
And now the first German-Sri Lankan logistics conference organized by the delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka was held in Colombo today. The conference was organized on the occasion of the official visit of the German Vice Minister of Transport and Digital Infrastructure, Stefan Bilger, to the island. AHK Sri Lanka has coordinated in the frame of Sri Lankan Pavilion at the World's Leading Logistics Fair, Transport Logistics and the visit of Minister Sagar Ratnayaka to Munich and Berlin in the beginning of June this year. Around 200 decision makers of politics and business attended the first ever German-Sri Lankan Logistics Conference to discuss opportunities of cooperation to achieve the common target to develop Sri Lanka's position as a logistics hub into a regional trading hub.
Every logistics chain has a beginning and an end. Nowadays, these chains do not in most cases begin and end in the same country. but logistic chains also have nodes, which renders the term chain somehow incorrect. From our perspective, Sri Lanka is such a node. This country and its ports are strategically located in the Indian Ocean along the sea route between Asia and Europe. Sri Lanka is a gateway to India and Southeast Asia, just as Germany is a gateway to Europe. It is vital for our two countries that the global economy exchanges goods, that we do business with each other instead of imposing reciprocal tariffs. Therefore, it is a strong signal that Germany and Sri Lanka are holding a joint logistics conference here in Colombo. We are both interested in the further development of the cooperation between Germany and Sri Lanka. This is always a good basis for partnership. We can benefit from each other. Our two countries are also working together in the fields of renewable energy sources, vocational training and trade, and last but not least in the field of maritime safety. As part of my visit here, I will have the opportunity to visit the port of Colombo, the largest port in South Asia. The growth which this port has recently experienced is impressive and serves as an example of the potential of Sri Lanka in the logistics sector. And the expansion of the port of Colombo is progressing further. And Sri Lanka is blessed with other harbors like Trincomalee or Hambantota. This creates much potential, and I hope that German companies will also benefit from this. German companies can offer our Sri Lankan friends their services as partners for the upgrading and operation of the infrastructures and can also be their customers.
Sri Lanka is now well positioned to move towards rapid economic progress, and the maritime, logistics and transport sectors will play a key role in these success stories. We have many things to discuss. The Minister and the Chargé both brought up our economic ties and the growth of the industry and the possibility of bringing down more barriers in this. This is something we've been discussing for a long time, and I think when the climate is right, we want to make the right decisions. We will take a step-by-step approach in this. We will have to consider the investment and the generation of employment in the country when we move forward. We have to safeguard the people of both countries. We have to safeguard the businesses of both countries. And with this in view, we do want to move forward on liberalization in a step-by-step approach, not just for Germany and Sri Lanka to benefit, but for Sri Lanka to be that logistics hub that we can be.
48 countries have been exempted from the mandatory visa fee payment when obtaining a visa to Sri Lanka for the next 6 months starting from this month. A media briefing was held yesterday with the participation of Minister John Amaratunga and officials of the Ministry of Tourism, Department of Immigration and Emigration and the Sri Lanka Army. As one of the many efforts taken to revive the tourism industry and improve the number of tourists arriving into the country after the Easter Sunday attacks, 48 countries have been exempted from the mandatory visa fee payment of $35 for the next 6 months. The government expects a substantial increase in tourist arrivals through this move, as the past 3 months have recorded a gradual increase in the arrivals.
A major attack of this nature, that we have bounced back in a very short period. Particularly people who are engaged in the hotel industry, the hoteliers, all people, direct and indirect people, are now benefiting. They were very worried at the beginning in the month of May and June how long it will take for the Sri Lanka to recover from this blast, and taken into custody all those people who were directly and indirectly involved, and there have been no threats or incidents since then.
Make a very clear clarification of what this visa fee exemption is all about. There is some confusion out there with the traveling public, and the reason for this particular press briefing is to clear this confusion up. It has been misconstrued that free visa has a connotation of being no visa required coming into Sri Lanka. So that's the first thing that we need to correct. What it is a visa fee exemption. Having said that, the application process and the ETA online application process will go on as always. So that will lend itself to the confusion about the security of the country with the arriving tourists. So the process remains the same. The only thing that has been negated for the next 6 months is the fee that is charged for visas.
We check this information, providing information with our Interpol database and the blacklist and all the lists we already maintain. And after checking against those kind of lists and informations only, we are granting visa. And that means the security is still highly concerned in granting visa.
And now the Colombo Magistrates Court has directed Minister Ravi Karunanaike today to appear before the CID to provide a statement within the next 2 weeks. The order was directed to the minister to provide further statements regarding the inquiry conducted in connection with the giving of false evidence at the Presidential Commission to probe into the bond scam. The CID informed court that the minister has been informed to appear before the department to record his statements on several occasions. However, the minister has failed to appear before the CID to record a statement. According to the State Council, consequently, a delay has occurred in the investigation proceedings of the case. He added that Colombo Chief Magistrate Lanka Jayaratne informed the CID to submit a progress report to the investigations to court. Colombo High Court ordered today to release former General Manager of Sri Lanka Railways P.P. Wijesekara and former Railways Commercial Superintendent Vijay Samarasinghe taken into custody of the allegations of corruption on bail after serving indictments to the suspects. Each suspect was released on 50,000 rupee worth cash bail and 2 surety bails worth 500,000 rupees.
Rupavahini Ekata National Program is being successfully implemented in the Jaffna district. There have been many benefits to the residents through the program. The distribution of housing units for the low-income earning families and families without houses was carried out in parallel to the Rupavahini Ekata National Program. 19 families in East Marudanthani division in Vadamarachi received housing units at a cost of 19 million rupees. Furthermore, an awareness program was held for the provincial correspondents under the sponsorship of Director General of Government Information Nalaka Kaluwevel. It was held at Jaffna District Secretariat. Jaffna University students were part of the program. An awareness program for the preschool teachers was held at Point Pedro Divisional Secretariat. Economic Development Officer's office was declared open today in East Marudanthani division in Vadamarachi. Distribution of fisheries equipment for the fisheries community was held under the patronage of officials of the Presidential Secretariat in the same division. Jaffna District Secretary said that more than 395,000 beneficiaries in Jaffna District received benefits from the Rupavahini Ekata National Program.
And now moving on to news from the world of sports. New Zealand managed to secure a 33-run win at the practice match played between touring New Zealand team and Sri Lanka Cricket Presidents 11 today. The match took place at the Katnayaka Export Zone grounds. Batting first, New Zealand team scored 168 runs for the loss of 6 wickets within the stipulated 20 overs. Ross Taylor scored 53 runs while Colin Munro scored 48. Wanindu Harasgama picked up 2 wickets for the Sri Lanka Cricket Presidents 11. Chasing a target of 169 runs, Sri Lanka Cricket Presidents 11 only scored 135 runs within the 20 overs for the loss of 9 wickets. Shehan Jayasuriya scored 26 runs while Dasun Shanaka scored 25 runs. And now with that, we conclude tonight's news live on Channel I. Do join us tomorrow at the very same time.
Have a pleasant night.